You need to become what you feel you are, and you need to stick to it. And it may not happen immediately, but it will happen.
Hello, and welcome to SheCEO Inspires podcast here with Yakinea Marie. I'm excited to introduce a new podcast on today, and I have a special guest on with me as well. This gentleman, I met him a long time ago, and I tell you, he is doing his thing, not just in Birmingham, but on an international scale. And today we're going to talk business. We're going to talk business diversity. We're going to talk about expanding and increasing your vision. And so without further ado, I want to welcome to the broadcast, welcome to this episode, Mr. Russ McClinton. It don't make no sense. I had to look down and see your name. Mr. Russ McClinton of Urban Ham. Let me see the shirt, Russ.
There it is.
You better represent. And of Urban Ham, an online advertising agency. I've had the honor of being being on a couple of your advertisements. I'm excited about that. And thank you for the shout out, by the way. I appreciate that. And he's just done a lot of things across the board. And so, Russ, what I would like for you to do, because of course I didn't do you any justice, can you introduce yourself to our viewers?
Oh, definitely. Now, first of all, thanks for having me on your show. I was really excited to see that you were doing this, because I think that is very powerful to, get your story out there. So this is great. But I have a entity called urbanham.com. It's about 21 years old. So we were like online before a lot of the social media entities came online. We were out there kind of pushing Black-owned businesses, if you will, events, telling good stories, meeting cool people and just trying to, get the word out about how great the community is. And, just kind of a back story behind Urban Ham and how it started. My background, I'm a computer scientist by education and trade. So I spent some time up in DC working with the federal government. And while I was up there, everybody was like, man, you live in Alabama. I never been through there, man. I don't think I ever want to come through there. So they were tuned in to things that they saw on television or read in the news, and it put a bad taste in their mouth. Mm-hmm. So a lot of folks are like, I just drive straight through Alabama if I had to go to Florida or something like that. So one of my goals was to say, hey, let's see if I can create something that will help change those people's minds across the nation, across the world, actually, about our area. Because, I grew up, my mom was a teacher. My dad was an engineer. I had family members that were college educated. People had nice houses, have nice cars. So I'm like, why do y'all think we know you? Like we live in shacks and stuff in Alabama. So that was throwing me for a loop. So I get to Atlanta and it hits me, and this is 22, 23 years ago. It hits me, urbanham.com. I don't know. That would just get sent from God. Mm-hmm. So I immediately get, home and I, register the domain name and get out and start promoting it, handing out flyers, telling people what we do. It's a lot of footwork back then. And, it started to catch on. And it took about 5 years for me to even make $1 off of that because it was more of a passion to me. I just wanted to tell these stories. And so here I am, 22 years later, still doing the same thing.
Okay. So I am making notes so I won't forget. Okay. Now, you just went straight in. You pretty much answered my first question without me even asking it. Okay. But I love the layers that you walked us through. Number one, you saw a need.
Yes.
You saw a need. It wasn't just I can make a lot of money. Let me step out and let me start this because I can make a lot of money. But you saw a need. Let's start right there. And then I'm just going to hit the bullet points I just wrote down.
Okay. You
saw a need. So what? Because I know you deal with a lot of entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. A lot of business owners, a lot of creative thinkers, a lot of artists who chose to be courageous and step out.
Right. Okay?
but it's something that they saw that caused them to create whatever they created. Why is it important to lead with the need that you see versus leading with the money that you feel like you can make?
Well, I think that's important because I think, it really starts in your heart and you start to really feel and attach yourself to that need and that purpose. Like I mentioned, for me, it was a deal of, I had this need I wanted to fulfill and it became a purpose and I saw a reason to do it, but I also had to, do something else to make money. So the great thing for me was that I was trained in the area of web design and web development. So I was able to also launch a company that allowed me to make money while I did that. Another thing that probably kept me going so long was the fact that, I was able to update my own website. And back then, before Wix and all that other stuff, people had to pay you money to get their websites done. So there wasn't a lot of people out there doing that. So that set the ground for that. And it helped me, with that passion, fulfill that need that I wanted to fulfill. And it wasn't about chasing a dollar, like you said, it was really about, hey, I want to show the world these great people, what they're doing here, what we've got here in Birmingham, and how they could be a part of it if they want to, and not be afraid to come here. So, long story short, the bottom line is, let your heart lead you, let your passion lead you, and don't get so caught up in the money. Like I said, it took me about 5 years to make a dime off of it. But on the flip side, I was actually meeting people and making money on my web design business. So that was a compliment to that.
Yeah. So basically you was running two businesses.
I was basically running two businesses, and at that time it was a part of the company, but it was not making a whole lot of money, because advertising was our primary means. And anybody that knows advertising, your client, they need to be seen, they want to sell a product. Yeah. So it's hard to do that until you start getting eyeballs on what you're doing.
Yes. Yes,
so part of that was, hey, I got to really grow this brand and make it into something in order for people to say, hey, we want to spend some money with you.
So question. So once you started making money with Birmingham, did you let the other business go?
Well, it was just such a big part of what I did, as a computer guy and a web guy. Mm-hmm. I continued to do that, and even today, I like to say I'm kind of like semi-retired, but I still have some of that stuff I dabble in with, people that I've known for years or that have just been kind of clients with me throughout the 20 years. And I still consult, every now and then. But I get to pick the projects I want to work on. That's what's great, So I do some of that, and I did do some of that when I did a lot of that when it started to make money, because with advertising, it's kind of an up and down thing. You've got, for me, it's more like it's been pretty consistent. But for me, when we're events based mostly. So of course, spring and summer and fall, when people are having a lot of events. Oh, here in Birmingham, we got the Magic City Classic. So that was like the year, like I felt like a tax professional then. Like,
yeah.
That's when all the money was coming in.
Yeah.
Like literally after Classic, I'm like, I'm taking off the rest of the year, because that's just people are having events and so much is going on. So I did both of them.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I asked you that question because I believe in multiple income streams. Mm-hmm. And I believe that you don't have to necessarily go off brand in order to create multiple income streams. You can stay right in doing exactly what you love and diversify and multiply your income streams.
That's right. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. So I like the fact how you utilize one stream in order to feed into the other stream.
Right. Right.
Yeah, because struggle for 5 years, that's not a blessing.
No, that's not a blessing at all. So you don't want to do that, especially if you have something that could complement it. And, to your point, having the web business in Birmingham led to me being able to do some other things with partners across the country. Mm-hmm. It led to me, being, kind of dropped when Facebook and all those other social media platforms came out. We started to wonder, okay, well, what's this going to do for us? But it also created another lane where now we can create content, because people need good content, and not a lot of people knew how to, operate digital cameras and video cameras and all that stuff. So it created another stream that we just kind of fell right into.
Yes.
So again, there's always that compliment from what you're doing that allows you to just continue to grow your brand.
All right, let's talk about staying the course. All right. I deal with a lot of entrepreneurs. Many of them are parallelpreneurs. They're working a job parallel to the business that they launch. Some of them have stepped out and just by faith and started their business, and they're probably not making enough to save anything. But let's talk about staying the course. You said 5 years you held on to a business, although you had money coming in from another a stream, but some would have given up on the second business. They would have put all their focus and energy on the first business and just said, forget this second business. Right. Let's talk about the power of sticking to it, to stay in the course if you're pregnant with it. And like you said, it was something given by God, you feel, and it motivated you to stay the course. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, I think that's a good point too. Staying the course is something it's kind of ironic because I see that a lot with some of the clients, and I have a lot of younger clients that I work with and I kind of mentor, and working with them and charging them for my services. I also kind of, give them some advice from being, from doing this for so long. And one thing I've noticed is, you can have people that are serial entrepreneurs and they just kind of like be all over the place. And so, one thing is you want to kind of focus in on what it is that you're really trying to do, because I'm not trying to tell you, what you need to do. And I don't see a problem with just throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, but ultimately you're going to have to figure out a way to make your life less chaotic and figure out how you're going to, stick with what it is that you really want to do. And I'm also a firm believer, like if you have faith in what you're doing and you're a praying person, believe in God and all that good stuff, you're going to get what you need. You need to become what you feel you are, and you need to stick to it. And it may not happen immediately, but it will happen. Yeah, I've just seen it too many times where folks have said, hey, this is what I want to be. This is what I want to do. And I'm going to do it. And over those 22 years, I've literally seen people that are talk show hosts and big time musicians and business owners and multimillionaires, whatever you have it, they decided they were going to stay a course, and they did that. And ultimately they got there, be it took 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever, they got there. So I hear people say, well, this is my hustle. Well, that's fine. That could be your hustle. But if you love it, you need to figure out how you're going to turn it into your lifestyle and the things you want to do with it. And again, staying the course is just, it's just so important. It's just so important.
Okay, so I'm trying my best to remember this one statement you said in your head without having to cut you off, because I started to cut you off like
okay, well, you cut me off.
I started to say, repeat that.
Yeah.
You said, become what you want to be.
Yes.
It's something that you said, become what you want to be. And when I hear you say that, I think of the process.
Yeah.
So Denzel Washington made a powerful statement when he said, in between goals and achievement is discipline and consistency.
You're right.
So there's something in between the start and the manifestation.
That's right.
That some people don't want to go through this part. They just want to jump from here to here. It's almost like someone starting an advertising agent. They see you, they're inspired by you. They start their agency and they're mad that in 6 months they're not doing what you're doing. They're not on that level, but you got 21, 22 years behind you. Let's talk about the power of process.
Yes.
Because that is so key to the entrepreneurs understanding. And you said something, and I've been guilty of that. Going, something is going well, and then you get blinded by the shiny object, or you get blinded by a life event. Like myself, when I went through my divorce, I got married in 2016. I don't know if you was aware that I got married.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I got married in 2016. I got divorced in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And when I got it's something that happened that I was traumatized by, and some people can stick in there, and I just wasn't spiritually healthy enough to do that at that time. Right. On here, Russ, we keep it real, we keep it raw, and we keep it relevant. Okay. Right. And that life event, I won't even say that, I won't even give that life event that much credit. I allowed that life event to dim my fire for my company.
Mm-hmm.
That made me say, you know what, forget this. I don't feel like working with this person. You see what I'm saying? Right. And my company took a nosedive because I was all in my feelings.
Right. That's right.
So let's speak to that. Let's speak the process, but then let's also speak to, even if a life event happens, You have to have a way to be able to navigate through it, even if you need to take a week off or whatever, but don't take a year, 2 years, or a lifetime off because this situation happened.
Right. I mean, you know, that's just some really good stuff you're bringing up, because process, I do believe, is very important. Like, a lot of people that I've come across, they get very excited in the business creation and the idea of what this business can do. And so that is where a lot of energy goes, which is great. You know, you can put a lot of energy in there, but then you get to the point of, okay, I got all this beautiful stuff. I got a nice website. I got flyers, business cards, you know, T-shirts, whatever. Now I need to really promote and grow my business. So this is where that discipline and that process has to come in. I tell people all the time, if you go work for somebody, you go to a job, you know, whatever company that is, they tell you to be there at 8:30 and you get off at 4:30, you're going to do that religiously.
Yes.
But if you don't do that for yourself, then you're cutting yourself short. So you need to have the same process and the same mindset that I need to be at work at 8:30 and I'm going to get off at 4:30. That's fine. If I go to lunch at 11:30, if I got a 30-minute lunch or hour lunch, you need to do the same thing with your business, because now if you don't do that, you're not giving yourself the best chance at success, which is already hard to do when you're running a business. So why not model those companies that we get up and go work for every day? So keep a schedule, you know, get to work at the same time, go to lunch at the same time. You just can't jump up and say, oh, well, I'm going to just run to the mall. I'm going to take this nap. I'm going to do this. There's great flexibility in business, which is cool, but you also need to realize it is a business. And so you need to set your hours. You need to be available. You need to try to be on time when you, you know, you tell people you're going to have a meeting with them or whatever the case may be. Whatever you would do on that job, that's part of that process, you need to implement in your business. Very important stuff, very key to what you're doing. And, you know, you'll start to find out that you don't have to be the best at what you're doing, but your customers will start appreciating it, because they're like, well, I know I can always count on them. They're going to be there. They're going to show up. They're going to be at the meetings. They're going to I'll always be ready to get the job done. And so that's going to win you over a lot of business, because you created a process for yourself that other people have failed to do. Yeah. Now, what was you had another part of that question?
My next question was, and before I said that, as you was talking, I was thinking about something that a young lady who I highly respect in the world of business, April Frank, said. She said, you know, it's not necessarily time management that we need, is priority management.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I thought that was very powerful. The next thing is when a life event happens. Have a life event ever happened to you that kind of just knocked you back or made you want to stop, and maybe you didn't stop, or maybe you did? I don't know. But I would love for you to just speak on us not that some things, sometimes we can't control things. We can't control health. We can't control disappointments and none of that. But we can control our response to them. So when you are focused and driven, and an interruption happens in your life, speak to the power of navigating through that.
Okay, you know, and for me, life events, you know, which I've had some throughout my career, they kind of work the opposite for me. I've always been sort of a workaholic. So in life events, I kind of just put my head down and work more. You know, which is not a good thing either. You know, you need the time to grieve and whatever the good thing, other things you need to do when you do have a life event. So mine was kind of the opposite. I work a little bit more, work a little bit harder. So, you know, to your point, I think that we have to learn, which is tough to do, that, you know, you're going to have to, I heard you say your feelings, you got to get out of your feelings. You know,
get out of your feelings. And women, let me stop right there. Women are more so in their feelings than men.
Yeah, I agree.
We get all up in here. Listen to the ladies that's watching me.
Right.
We are. It's a benefit for us. The nurturing side is concerned, but it can be a downside to it, because we sometimes will allow ourselves to be led by our emotions and the feelings, you know, and more so than thinking logically or being even led by the Spirit of God. Let me just say that, because you know that's my go-to in regards to being led by the Spirit of God. Okay, go ahead.
Right. Now, see, and I do agree with that. I would say about 90% of my clients right now are women, and that's no shock considering the economics of the situation. You know, I was in an economics class 26 years ago, and the instructor told the class that in 20 years, 25 years, the most powerful demo will be the Black female. And this was a white instructor, and she told us that, and she was right on point. So we're seeing that. I think American Express said something, not to release something about there were like 1,500 businesses being started a day by Black women. Mm-hmm. And so you think about that, and you think about the fact that what you said, the emotions come into play. That's something hard to deal with. And I've dealt with some of my clients as they, kind of get into their emotions. But from my personal, I'm a Leo, by the way. So being a Leo, I don't have a whole lot of emotions all the time. And I don't know, maybe I got to work on that. But anyway.
No, you're a man.
I'm a man, but I've seen some men like, man, you for real? And like I've told my friends before, like, I've got some friends and they can get in their feelings. I'm like, we can't do that. We just got to handle the business. So for me, I think my dad told me one time, we had a business deal, and it kind of with some of my partners, and it didn't go well, and some people started falling out and all that good stuff. And I was telling my dad about it, and he just kind of looked at me and he said, "Well, did y'all make money?" I said, "Yeah, we made plenty of money." Well, what y'all in y'all feeling for? He was basically saying people work together all the time and they don't like each other. Yeah. And so if we're going to bring those feelings over to the other side, we're probably not going to be successful. Yeah. So we have to figure out how, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying to go out there and find a lot of people you don't like to work with. You should, that should be part of the formula. You should at least like the people or have something in common with them. But I'm saying relationships do go awry, business and all that stuff. That should not stop you from keeping your head up and going after whatever you believe you need to go at.
Yes. Now it's two things that you said, and we could talk about this, and then I want to talk you to just give some closing points. So collaboration. You talked about collaboration. I do believe in the power of collaborations. I believe solopreneurs.
Yes.
They are too focused on working alone. Thus, it takes them 10 years to do what they accomplish in 6 months. Right. Because collaboration, it expands your exposure. It expands your reach, period. Right. Okay. And then partnerships, when you're talking about, when you was talking, I thought of values. Mm-hmm. Do they align with my value system?
Right.
Because if they don't align with my value system, then this probably would not be a good partnership. Right. So let's talk about the power of partnerships and why entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs should be open to partnering with the right person, not just anyone, but the right person.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. As small businesses, we tend to, as business owners, we tend to try to do everything. Mm-hmm. And that has always been the case, for a lot of us, because we've got the vision, we know how we want it to look, we know how we want it to go. But I think the value of what we're seeing today, especially with, the ability to do things like what we're doing now, be able to talk to people in other cities, you're able to find partnerships and people that have that line up with your value system, that line up with your brand, and they say, "Hey, I like what you're doing. I want to support you." Mm-hmm. For me, collaborating means just saying, "Hey, I like what you're doing. I have a platform. I'm going to share it, and that may not get 1 million people to you, but I'm going to do my part to help people know about what you're doing because I see and appreciate the work you're doing." I did that when I saw you put your show out. So I've watched you all these years. You've always had like great marketing material. You've always got on there and done, spoken really well about things and giving people inspiration. So I'm like, I got to share this with my audience because they need to know and see this. And I've done this with other people too. DJ Strick has a nice program that he does. And we talked, matter of fact, before we got on the call, somebody just called me like, how can we work together, Russ? How can we collaborate? And I told him I'm gonna call them back as soon as I get off of this call with you because I think that's very important to find people that are on a mission to do things and that you believe in and you believe in their vision and you can put some trust in what they're doing, not to make you look bad, because they have already proven that, hey, they're gonna do what they need to do and they're gonna try to get to that next level. And you just want to be a part of helping them do that. So to me, collaborations are so important.
And we collaborated like years ago. I forget what year we met. Maybe it was 2010 or 2008 or something like that.
I just know DJ Willie brought you by. That's all I remember. He brought you by. We may have been at Jazz Underground or something, but he brought you by.
Okay. Yeah. I think it was 2008. If I can't, yeah. Shout out to DJ. I was about to say DJ Street, DJ Maverick.
DJ Maverick.
Yep. Yeah. Shout out. But yeah, because you sponsored some of my events.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were the sponsor because I remember coming into your spot.
Yeah. Exactly.
on the South Side. So yeah, we've done some things together, and that's absolutely huge. Let's value system.
Value system. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, so what if I came to you and wanted to partner with you, and my values just didn't line up? Maybe I wasn't a person. I'm not even talking about anything that deals with character. Well, that does deal with character. What I'm about to say, but let's say I'm not somebody that steals or do crazy stuff like that, but maybe I don't finish on time.
Right.
Maybe I have a reputation of, giving people their service 2 days late or whatever it's going to be. So talk to me about that when someone comes to you and they want to partner or they want to collaborate with you.
That's a pretty good question. And I've actually had to help a couple of folks with that here recently, and they've come to me about people that they know, and I may know them also. And, we'll just sit down and have a conversation. And I always tell people, sometimes folks will come to you because they can see themselves. They can see your talent benefiting them. And so you have to be very careful of that, because your talent should be there to benefit you and others, but it shouldn't be there to be exploited. So you have to be very careful when people come into your life and say, hey, can we work together? Can we do this together? And you make sure they're bringing something to the table that is just as equal as what you're putting out. And of course, their value system has to be strong and has to be in point. It has to be in place. I mean, a case in point, I had someone call me and they was like, I got somebody and they want to partner with me on my business. And I'm like, well, you don't necessarily need partners. I don't think you're at that point right now, but you do need somebody to help you get the word out about your product. So why don't you just say, hey, you become an affiliate, and then from there we can kind of build a relationship, because you do need to build a relationship with a person. Just don't go into a partnership out the blue if you don't know them, because you're going to set yourself up for something that you may not like down the road. So take your time, build a relationship. If they're serious about helping you and you say, hey, you become an affiliate, you sell these products and you make your money off of it, they will be fine with that. Because they need to go through a test just like everybody else does. Just don't throw them right there in the center of your business, in the center of your life, and then the next thing you know, you got utter chaos.
Yes. Well, and just to piggyback on what you said, although there are a variety of partnerships, with two key partnerships that I normally highlight to the ladies that I'm connected to is the affiliate partnership and the JV joint venture partnership. And I've done both, where I paid individuals to market a certain product, and I paid them 25-30% of the commissions that came in, or the funds that came in. Or the joint venture partnership is where I partner with two young ladies who align with my value system and I align with theirs, and we get together and we looked at what each person's responsibility was going to be, so it's a win-win situation for us all, and we split the profit 3 ways.
And see, that's good. Everybody's benefiting from that. And everybody's putting their work in.
Yeah, motive and trust is everything. So in closing, what are some closing tips you would like to share? I would like for you to share that because you've done, we didn't get to talk about your conference, the Recess Getaway, but I was very impressed when you was hosting international events. I mean, doing it entirely big level. Can you just led you to do that? Because I know that was collaboration as well.
That's collaboration, but that goes back to what we talked earlier. That was sort of a full circle deal with my parent, my company. Okay. So with Urban Ham, I was contacted by some individuals out of another state that was like, hey, we're trying to put together a big travel group. We want to start doing international events. And we noticed in Birmingham, you're doing, quite a bit of stuff there. And we'd like to have you a part of the group. And that's how that all got started. But that came from me setting the groundwork for Urban Ham and just doing my best to kind of get to know people and reach people and all that good stuff. So with that, we started off just kind of doing trips to Vegas and stuff like that. And then we started, going to different destinations. And so that's been pretty profitable for us because, we get people from all over the country. Actually, pretty much all over the world. We get people from, other countries as well that come on these trips with us. And with that, we've been able to make relationships with people and have business opportunities with people that we brought on the trip that have come out there with us to hang out. So that's been great for us. And then not only that, we've been able to build a stronger bond where we're able to do work for each other.
Yeah.
So now that grows your business, just, that grows your business out of your market when you do things like that.
It never would have happened had you not been focused and engaged in your company, showing up, being consistent,
Right.
Providing operating in the spirit of excellence, and providing top-notch service and top-notch customer service.
That's right.
It never would have happened. They never would have noticed you. They never would have even known who is Russ McClinton. You got a tie-tongue name. They never. You see what I'm saying? And so I just love that you was fully engaged, and because of that, it attracted individuals to you.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Closing remarks?
So in my closing remarks, and I mean, they're real simple and straight to the point, the stuff we talked about. If you're going to have a business, you set yourself create a process like you mentioned earlier. You get up at the same time and try to be at work at the same time. Consistency, that's going to be very important moving forward. I think, again, we talked about values. And, those key values you need to have as well, so you need to always make sure you give your client the best of you. Being able to say, hey, doing everything in the spirit of excellence. Hey, you gotta keep that in mind no matter what you're doing, no matter how big or small the task is. You want to be the best at doing it. Show up on time. That. So a lot of the times, things like that, that's kind of when they're big wins for you. You don't even know it. Like you could be working for somebody, and they're like, man, they're always on time. They always answer the phone when I call them. They do this, they do that. I don't care who else is doing something. I'm going to always hire that person because you have taken a lot of stress off of that person that has hired you by being who you are and being a compliment to their business. So you got to keep doing that. You just got to stay the course, no matter how crazy it looks or how weird it may feel to you. You just got to say, hey, I'm going to keep doing this no matter what. I am going to become this. And I guarantee you will do that.
I love that. I am going to become this.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you so very much, Russ. I really, really, really appreciate your time. Thank you for what you're doing in the marketplace. I look forward to us collaborating.
Oh, definitely.
Some more things in the future. So thank you. Have a wonderful new year.
And I got something I'm going to send you.
Oh, yeah. Show him my shirt. Edison pink. Now tell him about the leopard.
Oh, yeah. I know I peeped out wearing some leopard print, so we're going to get you some of that too.
White with the leopard urban ham.
Yeah, there you go. And so y'all make sure you want to get you one of these shirts, it's urbanham.com.
Yes, I was just about to ask you to share how they can connect with you.
Yeah, urbanham.com, and you go there, there's so much more. We're always trying to share businesses, in particular Black-owned businesses, because I think that's very important. And I think that's another thing we need to start realizing. We can say, hey, we're a Black-owned business and support Black-owned business, but in order to really grow, we got to diversify our clients also. We got to have some white customers and customers from other demographics, because that's how you're going to really grow.
That's right.
Other big businesses, they don't worry about if you're Black or white. We tend to do that. I know I highlight that on my site because I want everybody to know where they can come and find great, reputable Black-owned businesses. So that's why I've always highlighted that.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so very much.
Thank you.